What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and we're finally past Christmas, so I hope everybody out there's Pokemon dreams came true. I hope you got to rip all kinds of packs and got some nice slabs, and everybody just really had the opportunity to enjoy the holiday. But now that Christmas is in the rearview mirror, we're focused on New Year and what is going to be a very, in my opinion, fun and exciting 2026 here in the Pokemon space. I think that we're going to see a lot more product available. I know I am already noticing it out in the retail shelves, which I think is going to put some of these scalpers hopefully out of business, push them out of the hobby. I think there's going to be plenty of product, prices are going to come down, but for somebody like me who has a very long-term vision, like I am not in this for the short run. I do this because I love collecting cards, I enjoy it with my family, and I do believe over 5, 10, 15 years, these things are going to appreciate like mad in price. That does not mean that they won't come down in the short run. It does not mean we won't have periods of a year or 2 years where prices are absolutely flat. I am okay with that. I've been collecting high-end PSA slabs for 23 years at this point. I have gone 5, 7 years where some of those cards didn't move at all, but when they did, they had huge jumps in price. So I'm kind of seasoned. I've done this a long time. I think 2026 is going to be a very interesting year. Hopefully it's going to present us with a whole lot of really cool buying opportunities. Now, with that being said, what we're talking about today is I'm going to be showing you the Scarlet and Violet cards out there in the market right now that I think represent some really cool buys. Now, that does not mean that they aren't at risk of falling here in the near future. I think every card right now is at risk of falling in the near future. But if I highlight them in the video today, it means that even at the price they're at right now, even if they drop in the near future, I am a big believer in their opportunity to do very well in the long run. Now, if you saw the video that I dropped on Christmas Eve, we looked at how the Scarlet and Violet era as a whole has been moving month over month, and we have been keeping our finger on the pulse of that for quite a while now. On the 15th of every month, I pulled the top 20 singles cards from every set in the Scarlet and Violet era, and I look at how they've moved month over month. I do the same thing for Sword and Shield and XY and Sun and Moon, and we've been doing it since 2023. We have this huge repository of data, and what it does is it helps us keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on. And some of those cards that we were talking about in that series, remember that video we focused on the 5 biggest sets and the 2 cards, the 2 top cards from every single one of those. Like some of those cards I kind of teased. I said, hey, listen, some of these cards I'm a big fan of right now, and we're going to talk about in my next video, and that video is today. So if you get it in this video, if you enjoy the content, if you're having fun along the way, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, or drop a comment down below. And not for nothing, we ran a huge contest last week. We're going to be drawing the winners over the weekend. I'm going to be announcing the winner next Monday, and I want you to have the opportunity to be in it. This video doesn't count. The Christmas Eve video doesn't count, but the 5 videos before that, if you're a subscriber and if you hit a thumbs up and you drop a comment in all of those 5 videos, that gives you 5 entries into the contest, and I would love for you guys to win some of these fantastic prizes. We're giving away Cosmic Eclipse, we're giving away Evolving Skies ETB, we're giving away an Evolving Skies blister with Chilling Rain, all kinds of great products. So if you haven't, go back, watch those 5 videos, hit the thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and of course you got to be a subscriber. So with that out of the way, let's jump into some of these Scarlet and Violet cards, which honestly have me in a bit of a pickle because I'm not a money machine. I don't have unlimited funds, so I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure out which of these I want to pull the trigger on. And I also have Ascended Heroes on the back of my mind because I want to take a huge position in that. So man, my Poke budget, I got to find a way to stretch it here in the near future. The first card I do want to highlight though is this Magikarp card. And man, I've been a huge fan of this card ever since it came out. I was fortunate. I bought it at 50, I bought it at 70. Like I have a couple different copies of this sitting in the Poke binder. None of them are PSA 10 worthy. Obviously, this card has an absolutely abysmal gem rate. It is darn near impossible to find it in a PSA 10 worthy condition, but that's what makes it so special. Now, the other thing we talked about in the video the other day is this set is 2.5 years old at this point. I mean, this set is far back in the rearview mirror. We are not going to see much, if any, of this hitting the secondary market anytime soon. So the population that's there is pretty much it. And the other thing I like about it is it was an early set in the generation. Traditionally, your first 4 sets from any new generation, Pokemon Company International is just kind of getting their feet wet with the new generation, right? They're saving all the big pizzazz, all the big hitters, all the cool mechanics and functions for later on, right? We don't usually see them in the beginning, and this card shot up earlier than we traditionally see. So just a lot of nuances about this. And the other thing too is it's just an incredible piece of art. Like if you have not had the opportunity, and I'm sure all of you have, to see it in person, it's phenomenal. Like the Gyarados sitting there hiding in the background, you got the Magikarp, the way the red and the blue kind kind of pop off with that dark background. It is absolutely stunning. Now, it is starting to level off. It is starting to find what we call support here, right? At that $250 range. And a support line simply means that the market is not letting it drop any lower. Anytime something comes up for $150 or $250, $248, somebody buys it immediately. Now, that doesn't mean that if people put it at $265, it's being bought either. It's kind of at this equilibrium where that $250 price point is right what the market is willing to pay, so it finds that support line for a period of time. This is a baby support line. This is not even long enough to consider it a support line. It has just barely started to flatten out a little bit, even though it is so early on, even though I would not go so far as to say, hey, line in the sand, this is definitely a line of support. You should jump in right now. At $250, I still think it's a phenomenal buy. Like, this is a card that I think is going to do really well in the long run. I think it's going to be one of the iconic cards from Scarlet and Violet. I think, again, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, people are going to be all over this, especially in high grade. Again, that terrible gem rate, I think, is going to help prop up the raw card value, and I think those PSA 10s are going to go absolutely through the roof. You have one of the biggest names in Pokemon, maybe not the most popular, but everybody knows who Magikarp is, and you combine all of that together, and what a special card this is. This is absolutely on my hunt list. The other thing I like about it is you can see that new support line that I'm not calling a support line, but just as this teeny tiny baby beginning of support at $250 is up higher than the previous one at $200, and it is also a little bit lower than the previous two peaks that we have seen. All of things we've talked about a lot on this channel recently, all of the reasons why I really like this card at this price point. The other one that we've talked a lot about is, listen, this Charizard from 151, it was on my hunt list last month. And the interesting thing was last month, 1 month ago, it was at almost the exact same price. And what has happened over the last 30 days from that video to now is it started to drop a little bit more from when I said, hey, listen, I'm going to go out and buy this. I think at $250, this thing is an absolute steal. It dropped below $250, but then it immediately shot back up. It's that V pattern. Do you see as soon as it got just a little bit below $250, look at those light blue bar graphs, right? Like anytime it's in that $250 range, you see this compression of those light blue bar graphs shooting up. That is telling you and me and everybody else who's paying attention to this type of thing that the market, again, is very supportive at the $250 range. The other thing I love about this card, 151 brought people back into the hobby. Like, it genuinely did. People who were not collecting Pokemon cards anymore got so excited about 151. They came back because of this set. Obviously, the artwork's amazing. You can't get a bigger name than Charizard. And when you think about what drives the price of a Pokemon card, it's popularity. Every month on this channel, TCG Player shares with us the 10 most popular cards on their website in terms of buying and selling volume. This card was in the top 10 7 times in 2024 and 8 times in 2025. Every time. I try not to speak in definitives. I usually mess up and do, but every time we've seen that in the past, those cards have done phenomenally well. They have outpaced cards that have not been on there that many times. So you have all of these intangibles that just give you this big sense of security, if you will. And that's what I look for in markets like this. I look for big cards from big sets with big name Pokemon on it because I want that sense of security. Sure, it could drop. Do I think it's going to drop below $200? I absolutely don't. But could it break $250? Of course. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball, but man, when I think about security, I think about this card at $250 all day long. So really excited to have this one on the list. The other one that I think is very interesting, and it's obviously a much newer card, is this Umbreon promo, right? So this comes from the premium figure collection. And usually I wouldn't highlight a card this early on in its life cycle. But what I like about it is $25 is a really approachable price point. I think that is a fantastic opportunity to get in on this. And if you've been following this channel, again, TCG Player shares a lot of information with us, and I always put it into the best format that I can to share with you. We have seen how hot promos have been really over the last 18 months. Promos have been popping off left and right, no matter what's going on in the market. They just have this certain appeal to them, right? Like, as far as I'm concerned, I think that they are some of the best cards out there to put your money into. And this card at $25 just screams awesome opportunity. First off, the box it comes from is already at like $125, and Prismatic Evolutions is going to be the set from Scarlet and Violet. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Has a $1,000 card in it. So this set is going to be very special. The other thing I like about this, and it's not a one-for-one comparison, but It makes me think of the Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon Premium Collection boxes. Like, I don't know if you remember those or not, but you used to be able to get them at Walmart, and they were really cool. They had 2 promos of each of those characters, and the highlight, I would call them the alt art promos, are up at $50 a piece. You know, the more rarer ones, the ones with a little bit better artwork, like those are up, all 3 of them are up at $50 a piece. And then when you think about stack ranking the popularity of Evolutions, right? Umbreon is number 1, Sylveon is number 2, so we're not even talking about the 2 most popular Evolutions. We're talking about 3 of them, which are very popular in their own right, but still, even with all of that, they're up over $50 a piece right now. So when I'm thinking about my long-term play here, I'm like, man, this thing, at worst, as far as I'm concerned, over the next couple years could double in value. There is nobody out there who would not take a upsized opportunity to double their money over a couple short years. So for all of those reasons, I love it. Plus the artwork is stunning. I just think it's a really cool card. And again, I love the fact it's flattening out at $25. I have not purchased any yet, but this is one that for sure, I'm not going to think about it. I am absolutely going to be picking some of these up this month and adding them to the collection. Again, it could drop further, but I don't care. I'll pay $25 for this card all day long. Next one we're talking about is another promo card, except this is a Pokemon Center exclusive stamped promo card from Prismatic Evolutions PC ETB box, right? Like, this is the sealed product from Prismatic Evolutions. And everything that I was saying earlier rings true for this as well. Prismatic Evolutions is going to be the set from Scarlet and Violet, right? We know that Umbreon is going to be the chase card. It is the only one that's over $1,000. There's no card even close to it in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. The pull rates are absolutely abysmal. They're terrible. The gem rates are not great. They're not quite as bad as some of the other sets like 151, but the gem rates are still very bad. You have terrible pull rates. You have bad gem rates. And guess what? Those Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer boxes are going to be, as far as I'm concerned, the best sealed product that set is going to represent. It has not popped off in value like I think, but it will in time. I am very, very confident that thing is going to pop off. And when it does, these things will fast follow up with it. It is down to $67 right now. And I know that is a ton of money for a Pokemon card, but my gosh, if you can get this thing sealed, I mean, look at it. 1 year ago, it was all the way at $120. It spiked all the way up to $160, worked its way back down. And we may never see these for sale at MSRP again. You may never see another Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer box. I would not be surprised if you don't see a random restock of that again on the Pokemon Center. This card, I think, is being brought down for reasons that I don't personally understand, but gets me excited. I have multiple copies of this one. This might be an opportunity to grab some more. Very, very excited about this. You can look at what the Pikachu is doing. You can look at what the Charmander is doing, right, from the other 2 sets. Like, this card is destined to do really well in the long run. So the fact that it's dropping, you should be licking your lips as far as I'm concerned over this card. Speaking with Eevee, Twilight Masquerade, one of the bigger sets in Scarlet and Violet as well. And I have talked about this card quite a bit in the past. It spiked all the way up to $100 in the beginning of 2025, and then it started marching its way back down. We said when it got up to $100, we're like, hey, listen, love the card, love the artwork. Twilight Masquerade is obviously one of the better sets, but that was not a $100 card, at least not back then. So then it got all the way down. When it hit $50, that's when we said, listen, $50, love this card at $50. So I remember saying that, internet's forever. But if you check it out right now, it's dropped below $60 again, sitting at $57. And again, you have the opportunity to pick this card up 11% cheaper than you would have 1 year ago. So I love when you have the opportunity to do that. Again, you are pulling forward a price which is cheaper than it was 1 year ago, coming in at $57.79. So this card is going to be one of the better ones in the Twilight Masquerade set for sure. I think Twilight Masquerade is going to be one of the better sets in Scarlet and Violet. The artwork is awesome. I mean, if you look at some of these older cards that have started to gain a lot of popularity, gone up over the $100 price point, like, they've got big Pokemon at the top, but they also have really cool, really engaging artwork. And I think this one checks all of those boxes. Super cute card. Again, down 11% versus where it was a year ago. Freaking fantastic buy. Love this Eevee card at 57. We'll love it even more if it continues to drop down. If it gets down to 50, 49, 48, I don't think it's going to get below 50. I just don't. Maybe I'm wrong. But if it gets below $50, oh my goodness, I just might have to add multiple copies at that point. Next one we're talking about right here, Misty Psyduck, Destined Rivals. And this is another one that I may not be pulling the trigger on right now, but I am keeping a close eye on this. When this thing starts to level off, I am not going to wait. I'm going to be purchasing it. I love Misty. I love Psyduck. I love the artwork on this card. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Destined Rivals, outside of Prismatic Evolutions, which is a specialty set, Destined Rivals is going to be the biggest regular series set from the entire Scarlet and Violet generation. I think all of us know that at this point. And when I think about this card, I think about the Starmie V from Astral Radiance, right? You got Starmie V, you got Misty. They're both kind of chilling there in a lake, relaxing. Like, that card is a $95 card right now. And I think this card comes from a much better set. I think the artwork is just as engaging. I think Psyduck is a much more popular Pokemon than Starmie. So you add all of that together, and I do think this thing has $100 plus potential on it further down the line. It's not going to happen anytime soon, right? We got to get through this market downturn, and then I think the price appreciation is going to be much slower than what we've seen in the past, because I think we're going to see a lot more product out there. But in the long run, again, which my time horizon is long, I think this card certainly has $100 potential in it. The other reason that I'm really excited about this, and I shared this last time we talked about it, is, again, I always leverage back some of these data, like these data-driven videos that you just cannot deny. When they come straight from TCG Player, you can take them to the bank. And 3 times throughout the course of 2025, when TCG Player has shared with us their 10 most popular cards on their website, this card was featured on it. In June, it was the #1 most popular card on their website. In July, it was the #2 most popular card on their website. In September, it was the #8 most popular card. I mean, think about the buying and selling volume at TCG Player. Not once, not twice, but 3 times this card was in the top 10 most popular ones on that website. That goes to show you how much the fans love this. I especially love the fact that it was on there all the way deep into September. So I think this card has a very bright future, and I love seeing it on the list. Not pulling the trigger now. Want to see if it ends up starting with a 3, if it breaks below that $40 price point, which it looks like it probably will. Destined Rivals is so new. I'm kind of going to sit back and relax here for a little while, but I genuinely love this card, and I think it has a fantastic opportunity for some long-term growth once it finally starts to settle a little bit and finds whatever support the market's going to pop in at. The other card, and again, I love this so much. I've talked about this card a lot. This Blastoise from 151, like, when I think about the opportunity for not just this card, but the top 5 cards in 151, I think the opportunity is going to be huge. Do I think it's going to happen anytime soon? Just like I just said, I actually don't. But look at the price on this thing. Another one that you were buying this card 9% cheaper than it was 1 year ago. You're buying this sub $70. The #2 card in 151, which is one of the top sets from the entire Scarlet and Violet era. You're buying it sub $70. Blastoise, one of the most popular Pokemon out there. The artwork is awesome. Again, I love the fact, same thing with the Charizard, that is a part of the series, how the artwork for the 3 cards all blend together. So not only are people who love Blastoise, but you're going to have people who like the whole evolution line. They're going to want all 3 cards. There's just going to be a lot of demand from a bunch of different directions for this card in the long run. Again, you give this card 5 years, I think you're going to be very, very happy picking it up sub $70. So love having this card on here. The next one is, listen, the Tyranitar from Paldea. I love this card, okay? I really, really do, and I have loved it for a long time. I think that there are going to be multiple cards from this set that are going to perform really well. Obviously, we already talked about the Magikarp. Don't forget about the Raichu card, which is in there as well. This Tyranitar. Tyranitar as a whole has shown its ability to have very strong prices. You have a lot of really old Tyranitar cards that are going for a ton of money in high grades. So there is a track record for Tyranitar to be attached to very high prices. This is coming from one of the best sets in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. The gem rates are absolutely abysmal. The artwork is absolutely awesome. And again, it is starting to get relatively low compared to where it's been in the past. Last time it was flattened out right around $45. It's at $50 right now. I am not pulling the trigger. I'm going to continue to wait, see where this thing starts to end up. It still has a very negative trend towards it, still working its way down. But again, I'm going to be looking for all of the telltale signs that we've talked about. I'm going to start looking for buying volume to go up, which indicates the market is starting to support it. And I think this card, again, in the long run is going to do really well. So pumped to have this one on the list. And that's it. Those are the cards from the Scarlet and Violet era. And if you notice a pattern here, lots of big name characters, lots of big name sets. Like, I am not deviating from any of that. This is not the time to do any type of exploring as far as I'm concerned. Like, this is the opportunity for me to really hone in and narrow in on some of these cards that 2 months ago had a much higher price point. When the market starts to rocket up again and things start to get frothy, that's when I'll start to do some crazy exploration. That's when I'll start to look, for some of these hidden gems. But right now, you don't have to search for hidden gems, because a lot of the gems right now, they're not hidden. They're right in front of you and me because prices are dropping and the cards are awesome. So very exciting time, and I can't wait to see again what 2026 has. I hope you all are enjoying a fantastic holiday. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Make sure you're a subscriber. And while you're at it, do it for those 5 videos I talked about so you can go ahead and get entered in for the prizes. They're really epic, and I hope you win them. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.